Alright guys, so the last video I introduced the concept of absolute and comparative advantage, or the concepts of absolute and comparative advantage. So this video I want to explain them graphically basically. Last video I did it all just with numbers, and this video I want to put a picture to those numbers. And so it turns out that that picture is the production possibilities curve. And that's why I went ahead and introduced that before I introduced these topics. And you use that to find the opportunity cost and use that to calculate the comparative advantage. So we'll go ahead and I'll put pictures and explanations to all of that stuff, but that's just kind of a brief high-level overview of what's going on. So first I'm just going to start drawing the production possibilities curve for this situation. And probably before I do that I should explain what this situation is. So let's say that we're working at a pizza and a hot dog stand, you and I. And I can make 10 pizzas in 1 hour, or 5 hot dogs, while you can make 10 pizzas in that hour, or you can make 10 hot dogs. Alright, and so I just want to know who has the absolute advantage in pizza and hot dogs, and then who has the comparative advantage in pizza and hot dogs. So I'm sure that you can just look at this and tell absolute advantages, but comparative advantages normally you need to do a little bit of work to get to. But I'm just going to go super slow so that you get this down in your head at an intuitive level, and then hopefully it'll be easy on your test. Alright. So to draw this production possibilities curve, you have to choose between producing either pizza, so we'll put that on this axis, either pizza or hot dogs. So we have hot dogs on the x-axis and pizza on the y-axis. So I'll make myself this blue color and you will be this red color. So let's just say that we have, hypothetically, we have 1 hour, okay? And you could choose to make this production possibilities curve for what you can produce in 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, but I'm doing it with 1 hour because it'll make all the numbers simple. So as long as you pick the same amount of resources for both of your production possibilities curves, you'll be fine. But I suggest picking the smallest number that you can do that is divisible by all of the resource numbers that you're given. So here all of these things are quoted in 1 hour, so it just makes sense to do it in 1 hour. Alright, so in 1 hour you can make 10 pizzas. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or you can make 10 hot dogs. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the last thing that I should put here is that you need to and you have to assume linear production possibilities curves, so that this isn't, because you could connect these points like this or like this, and we'll get there. But right now lines are easiest, and then the curvy things are more difficult to deal with. So we're just assuming linear production possibilities curves, and we'll get to what that actually means in economics later. But basically, in simple terms, it just means that you can trade off your time producing pizza or hot dogs, that there's a 1-for-1 trade-off. Okay, so that's your production possibilities curve, and you can choose to produce any combo inside of here. Good deal. Okay, so now for my production possibilities curve. Well, I can produce 10 pizzas in 1 hour, but I can only produce 5 hot dogs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my production possibilities curve looks like this. Alright? So now we need to go ahead and answer these questions. The first one is, who has the absolute advantage in making pizza? Well, the answer is that neither of us do. We're exactly the same. In 1 hour I can make 10 pizzas, or you can make 10 pizzas. So neither person has an absolute advantage. We are exactly equal in the production of pizzas. Now, who has the absolute advantage in making hot dogs? Well, it's pretty obvious. You can make twice the amount of hot dogs in the same amount of time that I can. In 1 hour you can make 10 and I can only make 5. So you have the absolute advantage in the production of hot dogs. And here is where we have to start dealing with opportunity cost. So who has the comparative advantage in making pizza? Well, let's go ahead and see. Say that I'm starting out right here. I'm starting out at point A and I'm making 0 pizzas. For me to make 1 pizza, for me to go from 0 to 1, I have to make, and you can't actually see this very well, but I have to make half of a hot dog less. Because here would be 1 whole hot dog, 2 pizzas. So the opportunity cost, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this for 2 pizzas. So I'll back up a little bit. So for me to make 2 pizzas, I have to give up 1 hot dog, right? So that would be right here. That would be point B. So to make 1 pizza, I have to give up, or sorry, for me to make, not 1 pizza, for me to make 2 pizzas, I have to give up 1 hot dog. And you can see that graphically because to increase pizza by 2, I have to decrease my hot dog production by 1. So what would it cost for me to just make 1 pizza? Well, that would take us right here to point C. And that is, if I could draw my lines perfectly straight, that would be exactly half of a hot dog. So you can go ahead and just divide by 2 here. So let's just go ahead and write that. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So 1 pizza is equal to half a hot dog. So this is for me. The opportunity cost of 1 pizza is a half a hot dog. Now we need to go ahead and do this same thing for you. So for you, let's say that you also are making no pizzas right now. You're at point, we'll call this point D. For you to go and make 1 pizza, for you to go from point D to point, we'll call it point E, well, you only have to give up 1 hot dog. For you to go from here to here, you increase your pizza production by 1 and you decrease your hot dog production by 1. So for you, the opportunity cost of 1 pizza is equal to 1 hot dog. So the answer is that even though neither person had the absolute advantage in making pizza, I have the comparative advantage in making pizza only because I'm not very good at making hot dogs. And this is the kicker, that because I'm not very good at making hot dogs, I should make pizzas, even though you can make pizzas just as well as I can. So because my comparative advantage is in making pizzas, if we need to produce both pizzas and hot dogs, it makes sense for me to produce as many pizzas as I can, and then to go on to hot dogs. Okay, so now we need to go and see who has the comparative advantage in making hot dogs. And I'm going to go ahead and rather than rewrite this, we know that your opportunity cost of 1 hot dog is also equal to 1 pizza. So if you were just to go from point E to point D, we would reverse these signs, go like this and like this. And so your opportunity cost of 1 hot dog is 1 pizza. 1 pizza. But for me, it's a little bit different. So for me, we already had it up here. We already had it all the way up here. For me, for me to make 1 hot dog, I have to give up making 2 pizzas. And it's not because I'm good at making pizzas. You can make just as many pizzas as I can in the same amount of time. It's just that I'm really, really bad at making hot dogs. So you have the absolute production you have the comparative advantage in making hot dogs. You have the comparative advantage in making hot dog because your opportunity cost of 1 pizza is less than my opportunity cost of 2 pizzas. And so I hope you see how the production possibilities curve, this right here, plays into the concept of comparative advantage. And we're going to go ahead and keep on using this kind of back and forth between production possibilities curves and comparative advantage when we talk about trade policy and who should make what and how much they should charge for it. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.